10 UK towns built for glory, but met with hardship. Britain's landscape is dotted with towns that once stood as beacons of industry, ambition, and community pride. They were built for glory, whether through shipbuilding, steel, coal, or commerce, and they powered the nation through its proudest moments. Yet, when global markets shifted and industries declined, many of these towns were left grappling with hardship, searching for a new sense of identity. This list counts down 10 UK towns built for glory but met with hardship, exploring both their shining pasts and their ongoing journeys of resilience. 10. Corby, England. Corby, in Northamptonshire, is a town that grew rapidly in the 20th century, nicknamed Little Scotland because of the thousands of Scottish workers who migrated south to work in its thriving steelworks. At its height, Corby's steel plant was one of the largest in Europe, and the town expanded with new housing, schools and infrastructure to support its booming community. But the steel closures of the early 1980s hit hard. Thousands lost their jobs, and Corby became symbolic of Britain's post-industrial struggles. The once bustling town centre grew quieter, and unemployment soared. Yet Corby's story didn't end there. In recent years, the town has fought for a comeback. New investments have brought modern shopping centres, leisure facilities, and improved transport links. Corby is also reinventing itself as a hub for logistics and light manufacturing. Affordable housing and strong community ties remain part of its appeal. Corby might never regain its former steel glory, but it has proven resilient, standing as one of the UK towns that shows both the hardship and hope of reinvention. 9 Jarrow, England. On the River Tyne lies Jarrow, a town forever linked to its shipbuilding heritage and the iconic Jarrow March of 1936. Once, its shipyards produced world-class vessels, contributing to Britain's maritime strength. Generations of families worked the yards, proud to build ships that sailed the globe. But as the 20th century progressed, shipbuilding declined. Jarrow's economy faltered, and unemployment took a devastating toll. The Jarrow Crusade itself was born from this hardship when 200 unemployed men marched to London to protest joblessness. That event remains etched in Britain's social history, symbolising the struggles of working-class communities abandoned by economic shifts. Today, Jarrow continues to carry the weight of that past, but it has also moved forward. It benefits from strong transport links to Newcastle, and regeneration projects have introduced cultural initiatives, education centres, and business parks. While the legacy of industrial hardship is never far away, Jarrow demonstrates how a town can preserve its proud history while adapting to new realities. 8. Port Talbot, Wales. Few towns are as synonymous with steel as Port Talbot in South Wales. Dominated by its massive steelworks, the town became a crucial cog in Britain's industrial machine. For decades, employment was stable, communities thrived, and the name Port Talbot was recognised worldwide for steel production. But global competition, rising costs, and uncertain ownership have cast a long shadow over the town. Workers live with the constant worry of redundancy, and the community has endured the emotional strain of being tied so tightly to a single industry. When steel struggles, the entire town feels the pain. Yet Port Talbot is far from giving up. The town is investing in diversification, with improved retail, tourism, and arts projects. Community pride is immense, with locals fiercely loyal to their home. Port Talbot has strong cultural ties. Richard Burton was born in nearby Pontrhydyfen and educated here. Though hardship has defined recent decades, the determination of Port Talbot's people ensures this Welsh town remains a story of resilience. 7. Ebbw Vale, Wales. Nestled in the valleys of South Wales, Ebbw Vale rose to prominence with its huge steelworks, once the largest in Europe. The town was built on this industrial backbone, providing steady employment and shaping its community identity. Schools, shops, and leisure facilities revolved around the rhythms of steel production. But the closure of the steelworks in 2002 marked a devastating turning point. Thousands of jobs disappeared overnight, leaving scars that remain visible. The town faced high unemployment, economic decline, and a sense of loss that was more than financial. It was cultural too. Still, Ebbw Vale has worked hard to reinvent itself. The site of the old steelworks became the location for the 1992 Garden Festival of Wales, and more recently, regeneration has brought in learning centres, a college campus, and improved housing. Surrounded by natural beauty, the town also leans on tourism, offering walking trails and access to the Brecon beacons. Though built for glory and tested by hardship, Ebbw Vale remains proud and hopeful. 6. Clydebank, Scotland. Clydebank, sitting on the River Clyde near Glasgow, is synonymous with shipbuilding. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, its yards built some of the world's most famous liners, including the RMS Queen Mary. At its peak, Clydebank was a hub of engineering skill and industrial might, a place where families thrived on steady employment. But as global shipbuilding declined in the post-war period, Clydebank suffered enormously. Yards closed, jobs vanished, and the town's proud reputation took a hit. The community endured not only economic hardship, but also social challenges tied to depopulation and poverty. Yet Clydebank has not been forgotten. Regeneration schemes have sought to preserve its industrial heritage through museums and cultural projects. Its location near Glasgow makes it attractive for commuters, and housing developments have improved its appeal. Clydebank's story reflects the fate of many UK towns, built on industrial glory, forced to weather hardship, yet still striving to create a modern identity. 5. Barrow-in-Furness, England. Barrow-in-Furness in Cumbria is a town built around shipbuilding and steel. Often nicknamed the English Chicago for its explosive 19th century growth, Barrow was a powerhouse of naval construction. Its docks produced ships that helped define Britain's naval dominance, and at its peak, the town boasted booming populations and strong civic pride. But as steel and shipbuilding faced contraction, Barrow struggled. The town's fortunes were tied to submarine contracts, meaning when orders dwindled, uncertainty followed. Unemployment rose, and the town faced social and economic hardship. Critics even labelled Barrow one of Britain's most isolated and challenged towns. Yet Barrow's story continues. The shipyard remains a major employer, particularly with submarine projects for the Royal Navy, and regeneration efforts are breathing new life into the town centre. Surrounded by the Lake District and Morecambe Bay, Barrow is also turning to tourism. Once a symbol of industrial glory, Barrow-in-Furness is now a tale of resilience amid hardship. 4. Merthyr Tydfil, Wales. Merthyr Tydfil in South Wales was once the beating heart of the iron industry. In the 19th century, it grew into one of the biggest towns in Wales, exporting iron across the world. The Cyfarthfa Iron Works and Dowlais Iron Works put Merthyr on the map, and the town bustled with prosperity. But when the industry collapsed, Merthyr Tydfil entered decades of hardship. Unemployment, poverty, and poor health statistics plagued the community. For years, it was frequently listed among the most deprived towns in the UK. The contrast between its glorious past and its later struggles is stark. Still, Merthyr is not without hope. Retail parks, tourism linked to the Brecon beacons, and ongoing regeneration projects are helping. Merthyr is also home to strong cultural traditions and a sense of pride that refuses to fade. Once built for glory, Merthyr Tydfil demonstrates the resilience of Welsh towns that continue to push forward despite hardship. 3. Motherwell, Scotland. Motherwell in North Lanarkshire was known as the steel capital of Scotland. Its Ravenscraig steelworks dominated the skyline, and provided thousands of jobs, shaping generations of families. The town's identity was so tied to steel that its decline was felt as a collective trauma. The closure of Ravenscraig in 1992 was devastating, eliminating thousands of jobs and leaving a void in the local economy. For years, Motherwell symbolised the struggles of deindustrialisation in Scotland, grappling with unemployment, poverty, and loss of purpose. But regeneration has offered new directions. The site of Ravenscraig is being redeveloped with homes, schools, and leisure facilities. Motherwell remains a commuter hub for Glasgow and boasts strong transport links. Though its steel-making past defines much of its history, the town continues to adapt. Motherwell exemplifies how UK towns built for glory can endure hardship and still look to the future with determination. 2. Middlesbrough, England. Middlesbrough, in North Yorkshire, is one of the great industrial towns of Britain. Founded in the 19th century, it grew from a small farmstead into a bustling town known as Ironopolis. Steel and iron shaped Middlesbrough's destiny, powering Britain's railways, bridges and ships. Its rapid growth was extraordinary, proof of a town truly built for glory. But as steel and heavy industry declined in the late 20th century, Middlesbrough was left vulnerable. The loss of jobs brought social challenges, poverty, and an image problem that still lingers today. For decades, it has struggled with some of the UK's toughest economic statistics. Yet Middlesbrough is fighting back. It's a hub of education, with Teesside University driving innovation, cultural initiatives, investment in digital sectors, and sporting pride through Middlesbrough FC keep its spirit alive. Once built on iron and steel, Middlesbrough now seeks a future built on knowledge, creativity, and resilience. 1. Scunthorpe, England. Topping the list is Scunthorpe in North Lincolnshire, perhaps the most iconic example of a town built for industrial glory, but later tested by hardship. Known as a major industrial steel town, Scunthorpe thrived on steel. Its works were among the largest in the UK, and for generations, the town revolved around its furnaces. Families were proud of their work, and Scunthorpe embodied the strength of industrial Britain. But global steel crises and foreign competition devastated the town. Redundancies, uncertainty, and repeated threats of closure have hung over Scunthorpe for decades. Its name has become shorthand for the struggles of Britain's steel industry. Unemployment and economic hardship have taken their toll, and regeneration has been slow and difficult. Still, Scunthorpe is not without fight. The steelworks remain a key employer, and new investments in green energy and alternative industries offer hope. The community continues to push forward, determined not to be defined only by decline. Scunthorpe's story is the clearest example of how UK towns once built for glory are tested by hardship but endure with resilience. The tale of 10 UK towns built for glory but met with hardship is both poignant and inspiring. These towns remind us that while industries may collapse, communities endure. Their struggles reflect Britain's industrial past, but their resilience offers hope for the future, proving that hardship never erases pride. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notification bell.